What's up, y'all? My name's Tim Ream. I'm here today on the 105th day of the spring cut. Gonna be doing chest and biceps today. Ain't gonna mix it up too much as far as chest exercises go. I do got one variation I am going to try. I am pretty pressed for time. I got about 45 minutes to get this workout in. I'm gonna put biceps at the end. I got about 4 different exercises for biceps. And I'll be doing probably about 5 sets total to failure, roughly, give or take. That being said, I'm going to get right into this. We're going to start with the standing incline cable flies for the top of the chest. We're going to work our way from the top all the way down to the bottom with chest, and the last movements will be for the lower pecs. So yeah, let's get started, man.
Fucking loofah, bro. You use loofahs? Yeah. Because I like a fucking brand new loofah. Take one, too. Okay, well, I mean, no, bro. See, you're over here trying to make fun of loofahs. I heard you. No, I use a loofah. Oh, you did? Yeah, I use one of these dudes. See, I'm over here doing my thing, and you guys don't think I hear you. I fucking heard you. No, because there was this thing that, like, we talked about how the pantries are racist, right? But I saw this article, and it made me think of it. They were talking about things that, like, I guess, like, only black people do. And apparently it's a black person thing to wash up with a wash. We used to use washcloths. Yeah, I used them growing up, but like I stopped. Well, I used ones like because they came out with loofahs. That's what I'm saying. Like I used the loofah. I feel like it gets in there. Would you drive a Flintstone car if they had a regular car? No. Okay. Yeah. Well, then that's why you don't use a washcloth.
I heard somebody talking about how they built their chest. They have a pretty good chest, dude, so if somebody's got the thing that I want, then I typically like to listen to what they have to say. And they said they used to do kind of like a lot of pre-exhaustive sets, and they would go from one exercise to the next pretty rapidly. And they said they stopped doing that and giving their chest a pretty good break in between each set and focusing on the stretch and then the accentuated part, the extended part of the movement, and just tried to stay flexed and contracted pretty much the entire time. And he had a good chest, so something I've been kind of thinking of, or at least I thought of it today while I was looking in the mirror, because I like to do a lot of pre-exhaustive sets and really, I feel like you're ramping up your intensity. That might not necessarily be the case, so it's probably one of those things that maybe in the bulk phase, or I'm just kind of thinking out loud a little bit, we'll end up maybe trying to experiment with that type of movement and giving it more, rest in between sets maybe, just to see what I think about that little method that he was putting forth. So not too bad, didn't sound bad.
Yeah, I'm excited, dude, because it's kind of weird. It's not really good. No, it's like day 20. I feel good. Moving right along, man. This is important right now for, I think it's important right now for people to really take it seriously, like what they're controlling, because, I've heard from so many of you over the last couple of weeks, just socials, that are struggling right now because of all the panic and shit going on in society. And, like guys,
Sitting a few good feeler sets, warm-up sets. I'm big on the 1 set to failure system, so they do got a little bit of volume. There is a little bit of systemic fatigue with these warm-up / feeler sets, but I'm also just trying to get connected with the muscle and just get it kind of ready for that heavy load. Pyramid my way up in weight to reach that final set. Really, I'm trying to find the heaviest weight that I can possibly go while staying contracted, stretched, and squeezing, and then drive that one home. So it's kind of like you're working your way up to find that weight you can actually do a true 1 set to failure max with, and then you drive that one home.
Whatever it is, get hyper-focused, get hyper-intentional on exactly what you control, and make a solid effort to control those things, because if you do not, you're going to fall away of everybody else, which is panic, chaos, and paralyzation, and lack of progress. maybe forever, because a lot of these people, like I said, when they go in their shell, they never come back down. And remember, this is the tortoise and the hare analogy that we've all heard. It doesn't matter how fast you're moving. What matters is that you keep moving. And so that's the message that I think really everybody needs to take at this point in time. I have put in my effort and my put in my dues, trying to warn everybody what's going on. I think a lot of people are aware of what's going on, and they're panicking now. And the people who aren't aware of it,
Alright, kind of tweaked my shoulder a little bit last chest day, and I have pumped up my volume just a little bit, but also adjusted incline bench to where it was more of a steep incline. Try to get a little bit more focused on the top of the chest there. Even though it was putting my shoulders in a little bit of a bind, you're gonna kind of monitor the progress of the shoulder this workout. I felt it here and there, kind of, within the last 6 days since I worked out chest last. And just like putting my arm over my head a little bit, grabbing the steering wheel, I can feel it sometimes. But I feel like I'm pretty good. I'm gonna go back down with that incline, one more notch, just kind of monitor it now. Did pretty good pre-exhaustive sets with that. Move over here to the incline bench, do a couple warm-up sets, and then get right into the heavy set failure. I had somebody ask me, they're like, why do you do a standing incline fly versus a seated? And where seated would be more stable. You know, your back, there's no movement, there's no nothing. I feel like you could probably get pretty good and isolated. The workouts that I choose whenever I'm in here, it's all unto going to failure on that one last set. So I mean, if you can do 10 reps with perfect form and you stop at 10, you're never really presenting your body anything new for it to cope with. So I feel like if you can go to 10, you can go to probably 12 or 13 maybe with kind of sloppier form at the end, but you still got that muscle under tension. So, you know, if you do sloppy form and you get maybe 13, well then maybe next time whenever you come in here, you might be able to get 11 with perfect form. So I feel like it's a way to go past your body's failure point. So doing the standing, I can get a little bit of rocking at the end just to give me that extra momentum to keep more stress on the muscles. So the exercises that I pick, there is a method to my madness. It is strategic in everything that I pick. That being said, I am going to do a seated incline cable fly today because I haven't done that in a while. And I feel like, I don't know, I just want to throw it in the mix just to kind of see what it's like. I'm going to do that right after I do incline here. I would like to get a little deeper with this movement, just the mechanics of it. If I drop it down one more notch, then it's way too far down. So it just kind of is what it is. The thing is, like if you go too far down, you hit the bar. So you've got to keep it above that bar. And so it does help keep constant tension on your muscle because you're not trying to bounce it off the bar. You're just in that constant tension zone. So that is a plus about this setting on this machine that I'm on.
And then they start to like work the same way that all these other people work, and they start to kind of follow their lead. And what happens because of that? Well, in most companies, and this is not my company, but in most companies, what ends up happening is you end up falling in line with people who really aren't that great of employees, and you follow their path. Okay, so it's kind of like joining the cool kids in high school. But the cool kids don't really ever amount to much. Everybody knows that.
Just kind of debating on whether to just take one more rest day today. Today's Sunday. I didn't have too much time, so I knew I'd be kind of rushing the whole chest, routine or whatever today, the whole workout. So I was going to put it tomorrow. I want to stay on my split. So decided to go ahead and just get in here, even though it'd be a little rushed. Typically wouldn't like to do that because you only work out, once a week for chest. So you want to make sure whenever you do it, you make it count. Maybe not the best decision, but it won't be too bad. It'll be all right.
A major long step, then most people have to go through. Because what most people do, like I said in the beginning they trust you, they get comfortable, they start hanging out with people, and a lot of people don't even get planted into their company because they fall in with the wrong people and they end up getting cut out. That's right. So, very, very important for you to understand. No matter what organization you're joining, you have a tremendous opportunity at the beginning to make a ridiculous impression in the first 3 to 6 months. And you also have to be realistic.
Wasn't happening. I actually did triceps 2 days ago on shoulder day. Not yesterday, but the day before. Definitely had some soreness yesterday. Probably take away from this movement just a little bit, but it is what it is. I can't really stagger the split that I've got without encountering some sort of overlapping, like, did triceps 2 days ago and now they're kind of still sore for chest today. Like, there's just no matter how I stagger this rotation, I'm running into that problem somewhere. But I feel like I do got it minimized. It's not happening all the time, just maybe on a day, maybe two. With some incline flies here, just to kind of see what's going on with them, see if I like the movement.
Once you've branded yourself as my high standard individual, that's the expectation. So now, instead of, from an entrepreneur, I'm the customer because I'm the fucking guy making decisions about your career path. Okay? So you have to fucking make me believe that you are who the fuck you're pretending to be. And the way that you do that is by continuing to level up, and level up, and level up, and level up, and level up. The moment you go into maintenance mode, you stop because you really think about how careers progress. Like, really fucking stop and think about it. Usually what people do is they progress through, they get one job, they get the next job, they get the next job. And the reason that they stop progressing isn't because they stop progressing, it's because they get to a job that they just don't really perform that well at, and they stay there. So really it's like accelerate through the hierarchy of jobs until you get to one that you suck at and stay there forever. And that's not what you want to do, bro. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So you have to continue to up that standard and get better.
I don't like it. I don't like having my arms out like that. So I feel like it's too much stress on the shoulders for me. Other people might like it. I just feel like I'm putting my shoulders at a really vulnerable spot. It's kind of a little bit of an unnatural range of motion too. So, and I don't really feel like I get as focused as I would like to. I'm gonna switch it back to my normal exercise that I usually do.
Guaranteed. Write that shit down and check where I'm at in 6 months, because I guarantee you that's what's gonna happen. That's the attitude I have. That's the attitude winners have. That's the attitude that we all need to have when we think about, maybe we did something great back then, but oh dude, I was MVP in a fucking high school football game. All right, well let's make that the smallest accomplishment you ever fucking had in your entire life. See what I'm saying? Different perspective. That's a massive difference. I want to touch on too because for business world, all these idle fucks around, like they think that they should be fucking CEO in 6 months, but posting graphics saying, I work the hardest here and I get paid the least, motherfucker. That's how it fucking works. That's the system we live in. You have to work through that first hurdle of the mass, the churn, and you have to fucking overjump that. Everybody goes through that. Everybody, whether it's a business, whether it's a person, whether it's fucking however whether it's a they, them, like it doesn't fucking matter, bro. You're going through the fucking churn. That's it. That's reality. And so because there's so many people out there that don't want to go business.
There's one variation I just thought of. I may or may not do it. I'd like to stagger a little bit different if I did put this exercise in there, but I've seen this one where it's like a lower, you're grabbing the cables lower and then just flexing the bottom of that pec. Probably be good. I can feel that activation right there. Pretty good. I may throw that in here just for a set, just to kind of see.
Been that way since you know me. Every day. There is no. Now I might smoke some fucking weed and do my fucking calls and have a good time doing it. Yeah. And but the truth of the matter is, it's still fucking. It never stops. Yeah. And that's the reality, dude. And anybody who tells you different ain't running real shit. I challenge any fucking person. Tell me different and let me see what the fuck you built, because it ain't true. People that say say that shit is easy, quick, fast, blah, blah, blah. Bro, run. Run. Run away. Run. And if it comes to fitness, same thing. Easy, quick, fast, fucking run. It ain't true. It's hard as fuck. But the rewards are worth the work. That's what I'm about. That's what we're about here. It's like called real AF. It's not fantasy AF. It's not everybody wins AF. It's not this is high AF.
I am going to try that.
How should one handle a trusted adult such as a coach publicly humiliates your child in front of the I am all for the old school coaching mentality, but belittling them and shaming them in front of their peers to the point where they play their favorite sport or face their team ever again. For some example, the coach would say, quote, "You're fucking weak, I've known you better since 6th grade, capable of joking around fucking bad." Do I step in and address this kind of behavior, or is it better to not intervene?
Not bad. Definitely feel all that activation. You can definitely feel that it activates all that lower chest. I mean, really, you just get a really good accentuation on that U. It's actually good movement. I'm going to try to maybe keep that in there. Do one more set of dips here just to kind of drive that home, and then we're going to move on to biceps.
Not everybody is fucking nice. Not everybody says things in a nice way. And real talk, if you're going to be anything in real life, you're going to have to deal with a lot of that shit. Okay? So that's my answer. You have to make your kid tough. That's reality. Now, I will say, I've had a number of coaches that have been ridiculously fucking hard on me. And I fucking love those people. I had a coach in high school, my sophomore year of baseball. His name was Mike Villa. And Mike Villa was a championship soccer. All right, I haven't seen him in 20-something years. I don't even know if he's still around. That motherfucker called me every fucking ever.
Here's the thing too. Like whenever you get down to the point where it's just like, I just want to see results, then you'll start putting away, if you're actually serious and honest with yourself, you'll start putting away a lot of the movements you don't feel like give you the max stimulation. Like bench press, I mean, I like doing that to try to do heavy weight, but if I'm serious about growing muscle and my pec bigger, I don't feel like it hits as good as a cable fly does. So if you can just start getting all of those little movements out of there that don't actually do anything in favor for the ones that do, I'm telling you, man, if you're doing 5 movements per week for chest, well, if 2 of them were sloppy ego movements and you put 2 more in there, like, I mean, that's almost a difference in a 40% increase on the volume you're actually hitting with your chest. And over a year, 2 or 3 years, I mean, that can add up to 40% extra gains, I mean, technically. So just getting those movements out of there that you don't actually feel like are serving you the best for what you're trying to build and just being results oriented. It's a big deal, man. All right, we're going to move into the biceps, work chest and biceps together. I've been doing chest and then biceps at the end of the movement. I've been thinking about it, not that I'm going to, but thinking about putting biceps in the beginning and then chest at the end, just to kind of swap it up. I've heard of some pretty muscled bodybuilders doing that, and they like it. So, but my thing is, I'm still trying to prioritize and build chest, so I don't really want to do too much pre-exhaustion with another muscle group. So by the time I get around to the actual chest, then I don't have as much energy as I can put forward on it. But biceps are relatively small muscles, so I feel like, I mean, you can get that in 15 minutes if you're serious. The stimulus you need to grow. So let's start out with a couple warm-up sets here. We're just going to do alternating bicep curls with dumbbells.
Terrible place. Your kid in 6th grade is going to be introduced to that eventually. We have to make their skin tougher. We have to toughen them up. And so it might not hurt to give the coach feedback. Fine. I doubt that someone like that's really going to hear it because they're probably very comfortable with how they're doing things. But I think the main focus here is to make your kid understand that this is a part of life. You're going to deal with fucking assholes. And just because someone's an asshole doesn't give you an excuse to fucking go into your shell and cower down. You know what I would do? I'd fucking practice with your kid until he's so fucking good at the coach, like, holy shit, what happened? Yeah. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Me looking at it, it's like, that would be the first step. Well, shit, is what he's saying. Is there any validity to anything that the coach has said? Have I been, like, ass in 6th grade? Like, I mean, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta, like, I mean, is there any truth to that? I think that's a big problem in society. People don't ask themselves.
Been dropping weight on this movement here a little bit, just so I feel like I can get a little bit stricter form, not as much swinging, and just really put more accentuation on that bicep. One of the reasons like I do alternating curls rather than just double curls at the same time. For one, I feel like you got one in the stretch position and a little bit more tension on the muscle while you're doing the alternate curl back to the other one. But I also feel like if you're doing both at the same time, it gets pretty exhausting pretty fast. And you don't have your mind in the muscle in each rep as you would if you was doing, you know, the singles at a time. So I feel like you can focus on each one alternately better than if you were just doing the double bicep curls with dumbbells.
You know, so I don't really need a personal brand. So they don't build one, right? But then somebody like, I don't know, me comes along who has such a massive personal brand and wants to do the same business that you're trying to do with the same person. Who are they going to do business with? Who's going to sell more product? Who's going to buy more product? And why is that? Right? So, strong personal brand is free game. You get people to know who you are, you get attention, you build a reputation, and that will never hurt you. That will only help you. There's a flip side. Having a personal brand, if you get it big enough, becomes its own fucking life. Okay? And you don't have very much privacy. People are always fucking with you. People are always it's annoying. You're like, what the fuck? Right? And by the way, don't do this. Do not show up here for fucking me. I have this problem with y'all. Don't do that. Very unsafe. Yeah,
And one thing, and I like the movement, I like a straight bar bicep curl, and I think there is a tipping point where you're doing it with proper form, then you've loaded up the bar with too much weight, and yes, you're breaking form, but if you start rocking with your back, I see people do it, they grab it, and they start here, elbows basically at a 90-degree angle, and then they go, and they actually kind of rotate the body to get it down, but their bicep basically does about that much work in there. So you're basically just doing a static hold. Like, see, I mean, so with these, I mean, you're actually getting whatever that range of motion is, probably 110 degrees. Well, that would be 45. So, what, 75 degrees? But you gotta be, if you just watch people doing curls, a lot of them will be doing this. And they're just kind of like swinging the weight. They're not actually fucking working out their bicep up and down. And that's one thing I just had to look in the mirror and just be honest with myself. Like, dude, you're doing a lot of weight. You're exercising your ego more. I seen this dude with 315 on an Olympic bar, had elbow wraps on. Obviously, you're fucking your elbows up if you got elbow wraps on. And he was like, and it's like, basically, you're doing this. You're literally maybe moving the movement 5 degrees. Like, you're a fucking idiot, dude. But to the untrained eye, you'd think that's really good. And 315, I mean, that's a lot of weight anyways. I mean, to hold it, that's fucking good. But, dude, it's just stupid to me. All right.
Tremendous opportunity. It's a tremendous opportunity. And for you to have a personal brand and build your business, always right into that. But that's the hack. You want to know when you stand on that side of the fence, because that's where everybody's going. I can see it happening. I predicted this for the last three and a half years. I told you this before, where 3 years ago we were in this politically correct company, like, if you didn't say this, if you didn't post a black square, we're fucking not shopping with you. And we've gone to the opposite side of that. We are over here now, where people fucking, they understand what all that shit is. They understand the woke shit. They understand the weaponization of politics. They understand the weaponization of social issues. And they're going towards people who represent what the idea of America is supposed to be. People can have their own thoughts. We shop with our own community. We take care of our own employees. We're from here. Etc. Products are from here. You know what I'm saying? People are looking for that option. Like, dude,
And yeah, you're breaking form on those last couple, but if you can only do 10 with proper form and you put it down, then I'm arguing that you're not actually presenting your body anything new to adapt to. Fuck, you gotta rock those last couple and then at least catch the negative down to where you're adding something on top of your, last PR or something in reps, weight, duration, something. Adding some negatives in there, you're really not presenting your body anything new to grow to. And I always say that if your body isn't changing, you're not getting bigger, then you're not putting it under enough stress to change. And that's just simple physiology and the evolutionary structure. You gotta be put under forced weight to grow. All right, I'm gonna do a leaning cable curl, get a really good stretch at the end here. With it leaning forward, drive some of the work home we just did with biceps with the alternating curls. I'm going to start out a little lighter weight, because I've had the habit of hopping into this exercise with too much weight and then I feel like I don't get the most out of the movement, so I'd rather start a little bit smaller and pyramid up. So that's what we're going to do today. And this is going to be the same thing. If you think about it, if you look at how the bicep is, if I rotate that wrist, I'm getting different activation. So that's why I like keeping a good wrist curl in there while I'm doing these and the alternating curls, just so I feel like I get more activation in both heads of that bicep there. Alright, we're going to consider that our set to failure. Got into the movement and realized that I can drive home that weight, simply put, for a set to failure. But I was talking about doing doubles, you can't really get the isolation. This movement right there, you're trying to do just one at a time. The leverage and everything just ain't really set up for that. So it's easier to just do two at a time with that. Alright, one thing I have been throwing in there for biceps is a palms up, pull up. Alright, facing me, the palms facing me, to get accentuation on that bicep. So I've been kind of using it as a little bit of a finishing movement. Finishing would typically be at the end kind of, but I want to do single concentration curls at the end. So I'm going to put this one, the one before the last movement. Get some good heavy weight on those biceps there. I'm at 155 pounds right. Actually, I'll probably be about 153 pounds by the end of the day today. So 153 pounds divided by 2, what's that? 76.5 pounds roughly on each bicep. That's pretty fucking good.
when you actually do know what you're talking about, you'll have this massive fucking credibility that people can't fuck with. Yeah, and like, dude, you'll probably, you know, like, I do have multiple things. Like, you're gonna have this company, you're gonna have this company, you're gonna have this company that services this company, and you're gonna build something so impressive over the next 15 years that you become a legitimate fucking source of knowledge, and that's everlasting. Like, that's not something you have to hustle for. Like, people come to you for it. And so, it's important for you young guys, young girls, to really walk that balance properly. You know, I'm not taking on anybody's hustle, bro. Like, I get it. But if you don't do it the right way.
Alright. I would like a straighter bar. You know, I got the grips out a little bit, but just kind of got to work with what I've got there. And you got to kind of play around with that movement a little bit. Typically pull-ups are going to be a back movement, but you actually can try to find a range of motion. Up in that top position you can squeeze, and then try to lower for that negative into an all-out stretched position at the end. So what I'm saying is you can play around with that movement a little bit, find out what kind of range of motion is the best to target those biceps specifically. You'll obviously have other stuff activating too, but you can get it to where there's a very good tension on those biceps. You're gonna finish off with just a regular concentration curl. Do as many as I can. I'm gonna do some assisted reps along with some failure reps, and then we'll call it good with biceps.
A lot of the young people are in such a hurry, and I get it, I was in a hurry too. They don't understand if you just put that first 10 years into really just fucking building your business, you don't have to worry about the other part. The other part is still you have to do the work first, and then talk about how you do it. That's it. Talk about how you do it. There you go. Or what you're gonna do. I mean, how many posts will we see a day? Well, you ain't seen nothing yet. I might have been knocked down 400 the last 7 years in a row, but I'm fucking listen, people get tired of hearing it. They get tired of hearing it. We all know, like, we know you mean it, but at certain times, for your own preservation, you follow through, or fucking people won't listen to you. So stop talking shit and start doing shit. That's really the bottom line. I love it. Guys, Andy, that was 3. We'll take a piece. This is about winning. This is not about winning here. This is about winning moment by moment. This is about winning every day.
Alright.
This is about winning a few days.
Alright guys, that was day 105. That was chest and biceps. I appreciate you guys following along with me, engaging with me in the comments. If you like the way that I break down the workouts and the way that I take you through them, I just ask you to please share, like, and subscribe. If you don't like it, that's cool too. We'll part as friends. I've left my email in the About section of the YouTube page. If you guys need your macros figured out, how to bulk, how to cut, some exercise routines, or just somebody to kind of help you go through and get your stuff sorted out with your fitness, hit me up in the comments or on my email. I'm going to start extending some of my knowledge to you guys. But yeah, that was day 105, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for legs. All right, peace.